All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Steven's Corner. So here's what I got for everybody today. So here's 5 things that have served me well over the years. Number one is a morning routine. And I know there's hundreds and hundreds of different ways to do a morning routine. Like if you Google it, there's all kinds of different people that talk about like the perfect morning routine. And you have highly successful people that talk about their perfect morning routine. And here's what I've found over probably 15 years or so doing a morning routine. What I've found for me is that it's a trial and error thing. And what worked maybe 6 months or a year ago might not work right now. I'm a big believer that everything in life goes in these like rhythms and cycles and waves and patterns. And, it's just like why sometimes you're kind of all in on fitness or all in on work. And then 6 months later, you're kind of like, man, I just want to like have a break or something like that. And so what I've found is that you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to try new things. And then you have to be willing to admit when something that you've been doing for a long time that served you well just doesn't feel right anymore or just isn't currently working. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to work again well in the future, but it's okay to stop doing something that truly just isn't working. And so, here's kind of my basic morning routine now. I wake up about 30 minutes earlier than I normally would. 30 minutes before I need to like get up and get moving and stuff like that. I do a meditation. That meditation can be anywhere between like 5 minutes and sometimes even like 25 or 30 minutes. Right now, consistently, I'm probably about 15 to 20 minutes, just kind of depending on what I'm doing. Meditation is my first one. Then I go into just reviewing kind of like my overarching goals and intentions. Like, what am I just kind of working on overall in life right now? It can be a specific like business goal, a revenue goal, something like that. It can be an intention about maybe spending more time with family, spending more time with friends, whatever that kind of overarching intention is that I have, that's what I spend a little bit of time thinking about. And then I close my eyes, I spend a little bit of time visualizing it. What does it actually look like? What does it actually feel like when that thing comes true? And I'm kind of painting the picture and having the experience in my mind. And when you do that, the mind doesn't know the difference between kind of true reality and what's happening in your mind. And so if you can have the experience in your mind and feel the feelings and feel the emotions, it literally just draws that experience to you in the physical world. So I go through that. Then I do a little gratitude exercise. And gratitude is a really funny thing. You've probably heard a lot of people talk about having a gratitude practice and writing down 1 to 3 things that you're grateful for every morning and every night. And there's journals for gratitude and there's all this stuff. And for me personally, for years, probably even closer to like a decade, I would hear people talk about this. I would read books about it and I would do my gratitude practice. And quite frankly, I would feel like shit afterwards. I wouldn't actually feel better. And in my mind, I would always fight it. Like when I would say like, "Oh, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for this." Like it didn't actually feel better. I didn't actually feel grateful. I actually felt worse. And what I've learned over the years is how unbelievably important it is when you're doing something like this, you're going for a feeling, not necessarily a specific thing. And I think what a lot of gratitude practices and like people even that train on it totally miss is they focus on a thing as opposed to the feeling. And so what I do now is sometimes I'll use a thing, maybe it's family, maybe it's a cool car, maybe it's, a cool trip that's coming up, whatever, like something that kind of like gets the feeling of gratitude started, almost like kindling for a fire. Then I'll close my eyes. I'll feel where that feeling of gratitude is, typically like it's in my chest. Sometimes it's in my like upper abdomen and it just feels like a tingling sensation or something like that. I'll feel that feeling and then I will work to grow the feeling or grow the emotion. And I do it without thinking about other things because oftentimes things have all kinds of other attachments to it that's just really hard to actually like just simply feel grateful for it. And I think of it as like literally like fanning a fire or fanning a flame. And I just ask for that emotion to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And, typically I'm laying down with my eyes closed when I do this. Um, and it'll just well up in my body. And, within a couple minutes, typically, like it's almost like a positive burning warm sensation somewhere in my chest or like my upper abdomen. And that's truly cultivating the feeling of gratitude. And what I found is that when I start the day feeling that way, I tend to attract a lot more things to be grateful for. And it just makes the day a lot more pleasant, like walking through feeling good and feeling grateful. Like even when I'm driving to the gym or driving to the office, like something as simple as like a really pretty tree, or I get to see like an eagle, or the sun just looks really cool that morning. And like that feeling of gratitude is still there, and it attaches to that seemingly tiny thing, and it just gets bigger. So it's kind of like a state of being. So if you have a gratitude practice, just be really honest with yourself. Like, does this feel good? Or is it actually having the opposite effect? And for me, at least, what I found is that when I stopped attaching it to things and started just cultivating the feeling, that gratitude practice had a much, much bigger impact on my days. Number three is presence, presence and kind of self awareness. And there's a lot of people that talk about presence and self awareness, but here's essentially why it's important. As you go through your day, if you're not fully present doing the thing that you're doing right now, if your mind is wandering and you're over here and you're over there and you're worried about this, or you're worried about the conversation you had with somebody yesterday that maybe didn't go well and what they're thinking, or you're worried about a conversation that you're going to have, or you're worried about maybe the books didn't look that great last month. If your attention is so divided like that throughout the day, there's no way that you can do the thing that's in front of you really, really well. And this is one of the cool things about like having a meditation practice. What I used to do is I used to meditate thinking that, like, cool, I'm going to do my meditation for 20 minutes or however long. Then I'm going to get up and go about my day. Well, what I learned is the true practice of meditation is to kind of get centered and get your mind right. And then it's how long through the day can you carry kind of that state of presence and that state of being? So now that I've learned to carry presence through my day a lot better and a lot more consistently and a lot longer, the days have gotten better and better. And so now what I'm focused on right now is all I'm focused on right now. So whatever I'm doing, I'm able to do it more fully. I'm able to do it faster. I'm able to do it with a better end result. Whether that's having a conversation with somebody, recording a podcast like this, or doing some sort of a work project. If you have divided attention all day long, there's no way that you're actually going to be able to do, like, there's no way you're going to be able to get done what you need to get done. And even if you're getting it done, it's not going to be done to the fullest of your capacity. So as you walk through your days, use self-awareness. Like, I have little sticky notes and reminders that pop up in my phone that just say, like, where are you right now? And what that means to me is, am I actually present where I am? Or am I stuck somewhere way off somewhere else in my mind? And if that's the case, just bring myself back. Know that now is the only time and place that I can have an impact on. So do the thing in front of me and just let everything else fall away. Number four is physical and movement. We're human. We are meant to move. And there's so much good science around it. I'm not even going to go into it, but just the endorphins and stuff that get released when we have some sort of physical movement dramatically help our mindset, our positivity, our ability to get work done, our ability to show up for families, business, and all of that kind of stuff. So every day I try to do some sort of movement. And even if that movement is just a quick 10, 15, 20-minute walk, like with my dog or with my daughter to the park, I do it intentionally. And when I'm walking or when I'm moving, I'm doing it kind of with a purpose and with the intent of, like, cool, like, get my heart rate up a little bit. Um, just be there when I'm actually doing the movement. Probably 4 or 5 days a week, I try to lift weights. Feels good to me. I enjoy it. I also do some yoga sometimes. And again, going back to like what worked a year ago or what felt good a year ago might not feel good now. My workouts are totally different than they were 10 years ago when I was a little bit younger. Um, I would heal faster. Inflammation didn't happen as much. So don't be afraid to kind of change it up. Like if you're getting tired of your workouts or they're starting to hurt, go do something different. Go try Pilates or yoga or, I don't know, try running or try walking. Just try something different if it's not working. But it's really important to get in some sort of physical movement. And then also tied into that is food. You've got to fuel your body with good stuff. We can't sit there and eat junk and expect to have a ton of energy, expect to feed our brain, expect to be sharp and quick mentally. So just take care to eat some good foods. I think that most of us know what good foods are and good foods are not. Um, you don't have to do a ton of research to figure this stuff out. Like just eat some halfway decent food and don't overeat and make sure that you're moving every day. And then last, fifth is a nighttime routine. And this is probably one of the most important ones that most people just don't even think about and most people don't even talk about, right? Everybody talks about the morning routine. Everybody talks about physical movement. You hear meditation all the time and stuff like that now, but very, very few people talk about a nighttime routine. So have you ever watched a TV show or had a conversation or maybe even like had an argument with your significant other right before bed? You go to bed, you wake up in the morning. What are you thinking about? Most of the time you're thinking about that argument again. You're thinking about the TV show that you watched right before you went to bed, or you're thinking about whatever the thing was that you were worrying about. Like if you're worrying about the business, magically you wake up in the morning and you're still worrying about the business. So this tells us our subconscious mind works all night long, all night. Whatever we give it right before bed is what it works on. It doesn't know the difference between good or bad or whatever. It always just does what we direct it. So if we're unconsciously directing it to focus on something not so great, it's going to work on it all night. And that's going to actually end up stressing us out more and more over the course of the night. And then we're right back into it in the morning. So at night, typically, here's what I do. I do a short meditation, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, something like that. There's some cool guided ones out there, but I'll just do a meditation. And sometimes I'll even just sit there and breathe and let all of the thoughts of the day, any worries, anything that's kind of just been sitting in the back of my mind that I might not even have been aware of, just kind of fall away and be done and go away. And then my mind is clear. After that, I'll review any goals that I have, any intentions I have, kind of the exact same ones that I do in the morning. And then I will give my subconscious a demand or a question to work on over the course of the night. Because, like I said, your subconscious is going to work no matter what. Why not utilize that time? And utilize that really cool thing that we have as far as the subconscious goes to solve some problems or at least work on something good. And it can even be as basic as something like, I want you to feel all night how grateful I am for all of the things that I, have, or all of the things that I've created in my life, or how my life is. Maybe it's just as something as simple as like, I want to be grateful for my family. I also use it to answer questions. Like if I'm working on kind of a problem within the business, I will give that problem to my subconscious and I will demand to have an answer by the morning. And every time when I wake up in the morning, it's got an answer. Not always the perfect answer, but it's a hell of a lot better answer than I had the night before. And it's something that I can keep moving forward and keep working on. So it's really, really important to have that nighttime routine. Don't go to bed just letting your mind sit there and spin. Don't go to bed watching TV, falling asleep in front of the TV, because whatever it is that you're watching is what your brain is going to sit there and continue to spin on all night. So be intentional with what you put into your mind at the end of the day, right before you go to sleep. So those are 5 things that have served me very well over time. Hope it's a little bit helpful. And If you have any questions on them, feel free to throw it in the comments or you can just DM us and would be happy to answer those.